The world-famous Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
And just want to say once again, we've got Congressman Buddy Carter called in just a few minutes. Not sure where he's at. Is he in Washington or you know?
I'm not certain.
You're not
Talked to him
sure.
yesterday, but didn't even ask him.
Okay, all right.
I
So
assume he's in Washington.
Yeah, he's going to be calling in just a moment. And just a tragic event that happened in Washington, D.C. overnight with that Black Hawk helicopter running into that airplane full of ice skaters and other folks on there. And our thoughts and prayers go to all the family members and friends and teammates of what happened last night in Washington, D.C. Just a very tragic event. And so far that we know of, they haven't found any survivors. And, President Trump says, don't worry, we're going to look into it and see exactly what happened. He's kind of like me. You watch that Black Hawk helicopter on the video, and you can see it going right straight toward the plane. And you're thinking, turn, go down, go up, turn left, turn right, do something. But it just runs right slap into it. And it's going to be interesting to find out why they did not turn. And my question is why they're doing exercises around Reagan Airport when you got all those planes taking off and going up. Because if you don't, I don't understand, and we don't know the details yet. As each day goes by, we'll get a little more details on it, on what happened to that tragic event last night in Washington, D.C. right there, because the plane was coming in for a landing there at Reagan International Airport, which I've flown into 2 or 3 times. All right. Well, we've got Buddy on the phone with us here, Bob. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Take it away.
Yeah, on the phone with us is Congressman Buddy Carter on the World Famous Butch and Bob Show. We got him?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. All right. Let's try this again.
Hello.
Okay, here we are.
Your phone with Buddy Carter. If this is a congressional man.
Okay. Well, we'll just wait for him to call back then. He was there and then he was gone. And then I try calling him back. Let's see if he calls right back. If not, I'll try calling him back. Okay, so let's see if he tries again. Let's try this again. Get Congressman Carter on the phone with us this morning here on the world famous Butch.
Hey, Butch.
All right, here we go. Take it away, Bob.
Again, on the phone with us is Congressman Buddy Carter. Hey, Buddy, how you doing today?
I'm good. Good. Hope y'all are.
Are you in Washington or are you somewhere else?
I'm outside of Washington.
Outside
I was at the Capitol yesterday, and our staff is having our retreat this today and tomorrow. So I'm over here with them in West Virginia.
Again, we always appreciate the time. Let's start with the event this morning. People waking up and
Sure.
watching that. You got any idea what took place? They say it's under investigation, but it seems it's a tragic event. A lot of people lost their life. Don't look like there's any survivors. So what have you learned from your sources?
Well, everything that I've read, and of course, we were keeping up with it late last night after it happened, and all of us flew into DCA yesterday. It's just tragic. Obviously, there was an error somewhere. It looks as, the way I understood it described was that, they essentially crashed on top of each other. Neither one of them could see the other one. And what the helicopter was doing there, I have no idea. They showed that's a no-fly zone for a runway going into an airport. So it really is tragic, and obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to all the families. I just cannot imagine.
Yeah, I know Butch just mentioned watching the video. You just wonder why somebody didn't go up, down, left, right. I mean, looks like they just ran right into each other.
It does, and the way, as I say, I've heard it described was that one fell on top of the other one, and neither one of them, they weren't looking. Neither one of them could see each other, the other one, and I don't know.
And where was the air traffic controllers? Because they've got them all on the radar there. You didn't hear any warnings from them to either one of the airplane or the helicopter, which was amazing.
No, and of course that's what the investigation will turn up, and I'm sure we'll learn a lot from it. But God bless those families.
Yeah, it'll be definitely a full-fledged investigation. I'm sure we'll find a lot more in the next couple of days. But just got you on the phone because since Donald Trump took office, a lot's been going on. So just want to get your thoughts on all this taking place in the first couple of weeks?
Well, a lot has taken place. There's no question about that. Bob, we just got back from Miami. I say we, the Republican conference, and we had our retreat down there the first of the week on Monday and Tuesday, and I got back yesterday. Well, I got back Tuesday night, and late Tuesday night, and the president spoke to us on Monday night, and then J.D. Vance spoke to us Tuesday at lunch, and of course we're hard at work with reconciliation, trying to extend the president's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and that's something we've got to get done. But as far as the president and what he's done since he's been in office, it's been phenomenal, in my opinion. I mean, talk about a change, and he has really through executive orders, which I have mixed emotions about executive orders. You like them when your president does it, you don't like them when the other side does it. So it's one of those type of things. But it is something I think that we need to get under control, because I think that it's a little bit. I think balance is a little bit out.
Another thing that both sides of the aisle seem to be upset about are the pardons. Biden pardoned just about everybody in his family before he left. President Trump pardoning anyone who had anything to do with the Capitol event on January 6th. So I saw Lindsey Graham on TV. He wasn't happy about the pardons for people that attacked police officers. So our Governor Kemp wasn't happy. So is there any way to get rid of pardons altogether from presidential? I mean, are they going to address that? I mean, it seems like both sides of the aisle are not happy about the pardons given on both sides of the aisle.
Well, you're exactly right. Obviously, the pardons given by Joe Biden as he was going out of office, I thought were ridiculous. And I'm sure there are those on the other side who feel like the pardons that have already been given by President Trump are just as bad. But at the same time, you're right. We really need to look at our government and whether this is the way our forefathers balance of power has it's at a sink to be. So you're right. Obviously, some of the people that Joe Biden pardoned, I mean, on death row. And I've always said that those who broke the law. I mean, we are a country of laws. If you broke the law, then you should have to abide by the consequences. So you're right. We've got to look at it. But to be quite honest with you, we got enough on our plate right now. I mean, now we are laser focused on reconciliation.
As a Georgian, you really got to be, I guess, proud and happy in a sense that the Lincoln-Riley bill was signed by President Trump, since this tragic event happened up in Athens over a year ago, and now something is being done about this situation with these illegal aliens here in the country that are criminals.
Well, we were, and that's I was at the White House yesterday, and that's we had the signing of the Lincoln-Riley Act, and a number of Speaker John Burns was there, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, a number of Georgia representatives were there. So, and then of course a lot of the Georgia delegation, Mike Collins, who sponsored the legislation, and Katie Britt, the senator from Alabama, who sponsored it in the Senate, and John Fetterman was there as well, co-signed onto it, and so we had a lot of people there, and the family was there, and President Trump did a great job, and he allowed Lincoln-Riley's mother to speak, and she, of course, was very emotional and very sad ceremony. But at the same time, as you point out, Butch, it made me very proud as a Georgian, especially the fact that that's the first piece of legislation was the Lincoln-Riley Act. So good for that, and I mean, I think that speaks well.
One thing that the president did promise was to, like you said, round up these criminals and get them out of the country. He's definitely doing that. Your thoughts on how that's going?
Well, it seems to be going well. A couple of things. First of all, if you look at the number of encounters at the border, there's no question that it has gone down drastically. And Tom Holman was at the ceremony yesterday as well. And I know Tom, and I met him, interestingly enough, at FLETC down in Brunswick. He was down there at one point, and I had the opportunity to go meet with him and speak with him. And Tom was there yesterday, and Christy Nome was there, who is now the Secretary of Homeland Security now. Both of them were there at the ceremony yesterday. But look, I think it's really interesting what happened in Colombia. That first of all, they weren't going to take the people that we were sending back, and then all of a sudden, the president, using his threat and his leverage with tariffs, changed their mind, so much so that the president in Colombia was willing to send his own plane and pick them up. So
Isn't that amazing?
there you go. It is amazing, and there you go. As far as people are asking me, "Oh, he's not going to really do this with the tariffs, is he? He can't do that. He can't do." Well, look, Donald Trump is a businessman, and he understands using leverage, and he's going to leverage those tariffs for all they're worth. And yeah, he's going to impose a lot of them, but he's going to use them for leverage as well, and he's already using them. But hearing stories of some of the illegals in this country are already just throwing up their arms and said, "Hey, we headed back. He's going to get us anyway. Let's go on and go."
I like what you said about leverage. Just read his book, The Art of the Deal, and you can see some of the tactics that he has in that book when he's dealing with other countries. It seems like world leaders are taking him seriously.
Well, they are, and I feel very strongly that that's a different course from what they had the last 4 years. I think that was part of the mandate that the American people sent in November, was that we want America to be. I just don't think that we were respected on the world stage under the Biden-Harris administration, and it's going to change, and it's already changed, and it's changed drastically. People, I get texts and I get calls a lot and emails, of course, and people say, "Can you believe he's doing this? Can you believe he's doing this?" And a lot of times I just want to say, didn't he tell you he was going to do that?
Yeah, he's keeping his promises.
If you know anything about Donald Trump, he's going to do what he says he's going to do.
We're not used to politicians keeping their promises there, Congressman Carter. So people are saying he's actually keeping his promises.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I guess that's the reason why they're surprised. Is politicians will say just about anything to get elected, and when they get in there, suddenly things get changed. But man, he's doing what he said he was going to do. No one should be surprised.
That's exactly right. And
what do you think about Greenland? What do you think about Greenland? What's his? Has he said anything to you, Congressman, about this in any type of way?
Who is this now?
Greenland, the country of Greenland.
Greenland. Yeah, we're already talking about renaming it Red, White, and Blue Land.
And so all my life I've known it as the Gulf of Mexico. I'm going to have to start learning something new, Gulf of America.
But guys, Washington used to be about big ideas and about big things, and it's kind of exciting. I mean, we got somebody in there now who's really talking about some big things, and I love it.
Trying to look at the time. I know that you got another appointment date. They said you got to get out of
It's
here.
12:13. It's 8:13.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
About all his appointments, they seem to be going through. Got any reservations on any of those people being appointed at all? Or
well, this week's going to be interesting. Obviously, RFK is somewhat controversial. I think he's going to make it. I think he's going to be confirmed. The only one that I'm really hearing some background about is Tulsi Gabbard, and Tulsi's a good friend. Tulsi used to work out with us in the gym, and I like Tulsi a lot, but Tulsi's got some baggage. If there's one that doesn't make it, it'll probably be her. But we'll just have to wait and see. of course, I got a lot of good friends in the Senate, and they tell me that, she's on shaky ground. So
Yeah, there would
I'm
have to
not
be
sure
some
about
Republican
that.
senators that wouldn't vote for her, and so then it'll be interesting to see if they stick together or some of them say, "Nah, we just can't put her in there. We don't trust her. We don't like her
Yeah,
baggage."
Did the Mitch
yeah, but
McConnell did the Mitch McConnell no vote surprise you? A lot of people talking about that.
not really. Look, he care less what people think. I mean, he's on the twilight of his career, and he's had a great career. But at the same time, he's going to do what Mitch is going to do, and having been the majority leader for so long, and obtained the status that he's obtained, and certainly it didn't surprise me.
What's the atmosphere like in Washington? Like I said, you got a lot of friends on the other side of the aisle. What are they saying?
Well, right now they're kind of quiet, and I think they learned that they were wrong on a couple of things. They were wrong on the border. They were wrong not necessarily on clean energy as much as the rush that everybody had going to clean energy. I think they still feel like we need to head that way, and I do too, but not, we don't need that rush to green. I mean, we can't be mandating to people that they change and that they do this and do that. And we certainly got to stop the subsidies. We got to allow it to to make it on its own. But I think that they realize, hey, we were wrong on the border. We should have done something about that. There's no question about it. And some of the economic policies, I think they realize now maybe they went a little bit too far. And it's right now our focus in Congress, and when I say Congress, I mean the Senate and the House. When our focus is on the budget, because if we do not get Donald Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Acts extended, then the average Georgia family of four makes around $50,000 a year. Their taxes will go up $1,500 a year. It will be the highest tax increase ever if we do not get them extended. We have got to get this done, and we got to get it done pretty quickly. If we don't, then we're gonna, it's just not gonna be good.
Well, it's like all organizations, the budget is the item, and everything else seems to come secondary, whether it's a school board or county council or city council or even the Congress. You got to get that budget taken care of for everything else to run like it should, right?
We do, and of course we got the debt ceiling that is that's looking down on us, and it'll be here. We got to do something about it, and you really have three different groups that you're dealing with within the Republican conference, I should say. And that is one group who cares about the debt. And I would count myself in with that. That we got to do something about our debt. We got to decrease our spending. We've got to get it under control. You got another group that cares about the border. And everybody cares about all of it, but their main focus is the border. We got to secure that border. And then, interestingly enough, you got a third group that cares about SALT, state and local taxes. And that is primarily the people up in the Northeast. As part of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, we did away with or we limited the amount that you could deduct off of your taxes to $10,000. Well, that's nothing in New York and New Jersey, in California. That's nothing. But they want it increased. It used to be unlimited, and then they cut it back to $10,000. Well, that's going to be a heavy lift. The president has addressed it. He said that there's a number somewhere that we can all agree on, and we got to get to that number. And I think we can. But it's interesting to me that would be such a limiting factor. And if I could, and please hang with me on this, that's the discussion. That's the debate between one bill or two bills. A lot of people feel like we need just one reconciliation bill so that you can use leverage from one of those groups against the other group. In other words, you can tell the people who care most about the border and that's their biggest priority. Okay, I'm going to give you this, but you got to help me over here with SALT. You can tell people that their biggest priority is SALT. You can say, okay, I'm gonna give you this, but you got to help me over here with the border. And then you can play them against each other. If you separate them out, you lose that leverage. So yeah, you're right. If we do two bills, we could do a bill we could do a bill next week and take care of the border and take care of some other things. But you lose that leverage, and you need that leverage.
You mentioned the border several times here, and didn't President Trump send about 200 troops from Fort Stewart down to the border?
Yes, he is. I believe he is either done that or is contemplating doing that, and he's also talking about sending 80,000 IRS agents that the Biden-Harris administration sent down there.
They gonna take their guns with them?
Well, I told him, I said, I can one up you, Mr. President. I can send them all. You pass my fair tax, we can fire them all and send them down to the border.
What do you think about him telling the federal workers who have not shown back up to work in the office, but remotely since the COVID situation, that are working from home, which is the great majority of the ones that you're talking to there, where they can get 8 months worth of pay, basically benefits, if they go ahead and resign, because he wants workers to be back, federal workers to be back in their offices, and a great percentage of them are still working from home.
Absolutely. We got so many empty buildings in Washington, D.C. It's just ridiculous. And you go, it looks like a ghost town in some of those places. You go by the parking lot, it's just wide open, nothing in there. And I agree with him 100%. And isn't that what businesses do?
I can't
Isn't
believe
that what
they've
you
allowed
expected?
this. I can't believe they've allowed these workers not to go back to work. Working from home was temporary while we were contagious. Now we need to be back in the office.
And I know it's part of the new generation, if you will. I have such a problem getting my arms around it. Remember, I come from a different environment, though, and I tell my staff all the time, y'all got to bear with me. I was a retail guy. I had pharmacies. I mean, we were open 9 to 7 Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on Saturday, 12 to 6 on Sunday. You had to be there. You had customers come in the door. It wasn't work from home. What are you talking about? Work from home? You got to be there.
Yeah.
So it's foreign to me. I can't get it. I just can't get my arms around it. Working from home, and I know people do it now. My youngest son does it, and
Wow.
it amazes me.
Yeah. All right. One more question here from Bob, and you got to be out here by 25 after. So go ahead, Bob.
Well, it's always about money. But local communities contact you for money all the time and grants and things like that. I know you were able to obtain some funds for the East Jesup Sewer project here in Jesup. So how much do you get bombarded by communities looking for more money from Washington, and how does that work? How do you juggle all those requests?
Well, we do get a lot of requests. There's no question about that. And look, I'm one of the few Republican members of the Georgia delegation who still apply for that. And my feeling is, it's going to go somewhere. It might as well go here. And I know we've got to cut back, and a lot of that's going to be cut back. And I want to cut back too. But I mean, as long as they're good projects, I'm fine with it. And see, that's where, look, I want to cut the budget too. There's no question about that. I hadn't had debt since 1994 personally, and I don't want any debt. But at the same time, I understand. I was a mayor. I understand you got to invest in infrastructure, and you gotta spend money to make money. I get it. I understand that. I understand how important water and sewer is to Brantley County and Nahunta. I understand how much development in McIntosh County, how valuable that is to the economic stability and growth in that area. I get all that. And if they're good projects, then I'm all for it. And I want to try and help people as much as we can. I'll write letters of support. I'll advocate for them. But I'm not going to be trying to get them money for a recreational field. And not that that's not valuable. It is. But at the same time, infrastructure to me is different than a lot of these other projects. I'm not going to be getting money for the bridge to nowhere, but at the same time, I do understand, having been a mayor at one point, how important it is to invest in infrastructure and in projects like that.
Well, buddy, always good to have you. Again, stay safe, and appreciate you being here on the show.
Thank y'all. Good to hear from y'all again.
All right. Take care, buddy. All right, Congressman Betty Carter here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. And we appreciate the Congressman calling in this morning. He's busy this morning. Got a staff retreat going on in West Virginia. We're going to talk about their plans and goals and things of that sort. It's good to have a retreat every so often like that. And but I would want to be in Washington today, because of all the tragic situation that happened late last night with the plane and helicopter hitting each other. But we do appreciate Congressman Carter calling in this morning and informing folks about what's going on up there in Washington, D.C. It's good to hear from our congressman every so often.
Definitely.
All right. What else is going on, Bob? That was a good interview with our new school superintendent. Good interview.
I think she's going to do a good job. Like I say, she's passionate about Wayne County. Knows how to handle finances. That's the issue they have right now.
Yeah, we're not a stepping stone for her, to go somewhere else. We got a local person in there who knows the finances, got people working for her who knows the education. Of course, she does too, of course. But she will do a great job.
She's just a good person.
Yeah.
Like I say all the time, good people, good results. Bad people, bad results. She's a good person. So, like I say, she has Wayne County's best interest at heart. So I promise you, she'll do a good job. I think the board's excited to have her on board.
All right.
Wish her well.
Yep, we do wish her the best. Because we're talking about our youngins here and grand youngins, things of that sort. When it comes to education, you want the best for them.
I have no idea what Sharon Daniels was thinking yesterday. I mean, the sole purpose of that meeting was to vote Tony Williams school superintendent. So why didn't she vote no on the first vote?
Well, like you said, she said she wasn't thinking correctly or whatever. I mean, how do you vote yes one time and no the next time? And why did they have two votes? What was the difference?
There wasn't two votes. She just changed her vote.
Oh, she just changed her vote. Okay.
Right.
She just changed her vote.
Right.
Okay.
After she realized she voted yes.
Oh.
Which
I did?
That was the sole purpose of the meeting.
The only purpose of the meeting.
How could you not know what you're doing?
I don't know, Bob. I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't know.
It made no sense.
All right, tomorrow morning on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, we got Lindsey Thomas Jr. coming in, who is the Chief Communications Officer for NDA, the National Deer Association. They had that deer about halfway between Waycross and Valdosta that came down with what they call the zombie deer disease, known as an infectious brain-eating disease, a chronic wasting disease. And so he's, of course, going to let us know about that, being a communication officer with NDA. Lindsey Thomas Jr. will be on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show tomorrow morning to give us an update on that and how concerned can we have to be about that.
All right.
That does sound a zombie disease. It doesn't sound good.
I'll be glad to answer any questions. So if you want to text in a question tomorrow on that subject, he said he'd be glad to answer it. So looking forward to having him in the studio tomorrow.
Now, he is the Chief Communications Officer for NDA, National Deer Association, because anything to do with deer, it doesn't have to be with the chronic waste disease or zombie disease. There, it could be with anything with this. So we'll have Lindsey Thomas Jr. in here tomorrow. We've had his dad on here several times, but Lindsey Thomas Jr. will be in tomorrow to talk about that situation that happened over there with that infected deer, plus anything to do with deer. You can text in those questions tomorrow morning during the world-famous Butch and Bob Show between 8 and 8:30, and we will be glad to pass those along to Lindsey Thomas Jr. tomorrow morning on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show.
Looking forward to it. Should be fun.
Yeah, we have never had him on before. I didn't know that he was that in that position. I've never met him before. We've seen his dad many, many times, but glad that he's going to be on tomorrow, and look forward to having him on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show tomorrow morning right here on 105.5 FM. Anything changed with your thoughts on the Super Bowl coming up in a little over about a week and a half?
It's down to 1.5, so a lot of people piling up on Philadelphia, but I still like the Chiefs. I like Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid to get to three-peat, set history, so I'm on the Chiefs.
Still on the Chiefs.
I'm on that bandwagon.
All right, on the Chiefs bandwagon, not going anywhere, huh?
Not changing. Nope.
Okay. Got to stick with your team.
Stick with Andy Reid. Andy Reid, the better coach. Patrick Mahomes, better quarterback. It's a no-brainer.
Okay.
That's
huge offensive and defensive line for Philadelphia and a running back that's been run over everybody all year long for Philadelphia. They got their advantages too, Bob.
I don't want to see Taylor Swift in tears. So want her to be happy.
And Patrick's got to be a good wingman here. He's got to throw a touchdown pass to Travis. So all the Swifties out there will be happy, and Taylor will be happy. Got to be a good wingman and throw him a touchdown pass.
He's a big target, that's for sure.
He is a big target. He's a big old dude, and that ought to be interesting. Next week will start the circus, Bob. You've been to it many times. To Super Bowl week through the years. You went to it many times, and it's just one event after another after other. TV stars there, movie stars there, former star athletes there. It's just celebrity headquarters for an entire week, and it'll be that way in New Orleans next week.
The good news in Jacksonville, I saw where Tony Baselli, their first draft pick ever in the Hall of Fame, is going to get a job in the front office with the owner. So
yeah, I understand that he was part of the decision making on the coach.
Coach, right.
And I saw a picture of him yesterday, and boy, I didn't recognize him.
He'd be a great GM, just a great guy. I mean,
he
got
is
to
a
know
great
Tony
guy.
for the years, like I said. Saw him at several Super Bowls. Was just always fun to talk to. Just a great guy. So that's a good selection by the owner to get him involved in the day-to-day operations of Jacksonville.
Right. He's been part of the TV and radio broadcast for many years,
Right.
and
He's
still involved there. But now he's getting a front office job, which is going to be great.
He's in the Ring of Honor. So, like I said, first overall draft pick ever by the franchise.
You pick a lineman, offensive lineman as your
USC.
first draft pick.
He was good.
But he is good.
You got to protect that blind side.
Yes, sir. If you don't have that good left tackle,
He protected Mark Brunell for many years. They had a lot of success back in those days.
Yeah.
Made all the way to the AFC Championship game where they thought they were going to win, but they lost to Denver. So,
Yeah. All right, Bob, anything else?
No.
All right, have a good day. World famous Butch and Bob show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup has been brought to you by Heron Aldridge Insurance, by Murphy Builder Supply, First Southern Bank, and the service department at G&S Auto Sales.